Okay, so here we begin. Everybody, this is Alivia, my daughter. We're going to be running through some vocal technique over the next coming weeks. We're going to spend a lot of time going through and digesting how we do this thing in singing. So, not to get too much into it now, let's begin. So you have no questions for me whatsoever about anything in singing right now. She's been singing a long time, by the way. But it's time to go through it again. This is the way it should be. I don't care how good you are. You got to go through it over and over and over. It's all about repetition. Don't use auto-tune. You could do better than that. All right, so let's talk about singing. So, been doing it a very long time. Probably now about 35 years. I've been thinking about the process of breathing for singing, which is really important because that's how we get sound, right? You can't get it without the breath. So the first thing that we're going to start covering, though, before we get into breathing, is we're going to be talking about our stance, right? So even though you might have been through some of this already, pretend like you never did. She knows what I'm talking about. But all kidding aside, the first thing that we're going to be talking about is our stance. Really? I got to be worried about a stance now when I go to sing? Yeah. Okay, so let's think about that for a second, because I had the same mindset years ago. I was like, really? I got to be thinking about stance when I have to do this stuff? Well, yeah. Did I just repeat myself? Absolutely. See, it's all about repetition. Exactly. Every boxer, every baseball player, every golfer, right? They all have a stance from where they begin their sport. Aha. So then, in reading all of the material, and I mean like a lot of it, most of it, what I come to find out is that there's a stance that we start our singing from. And I was like, okay, maybe this would be good. Anyway, I went with it because I wanted to be the best I could be, so I was going to do everything that I could do in order to make sure that I would be able to sing the best I could, right? Okay. So the first thing that I remember was Enrico Caruso said that when he would stand with one foot a little advanced of the other, like that. So in other words, I don't want to stand like this, where my feet are parallel, because then I'm flat-footed and there's no balance. You can easily just throw me back. But the moment I stick one foot a little forward, it doesn't matter if it's right or left, doesn't make a difference. The other thing too is you don't want to be on one leg like that. You want to make sure that you're on both legs, right? This actually cuts air circulation. Listening to a doctor on the radio one day back in New York when I was driving to go work out, he was talking about how doing this to your hip cuts circulation of the air going through the body. I was like, wow, okay, that's pretty wild. Anyway, so standing with one foot a little advanced of the other. Now, the reason why this is powerful, because I'm going to tell you why in a moment why this is powerful to stand this way. But with that stance, there's another thing that we need to do. We need to elevate, so the chest region, I don't call chest, I call power source, all right? So we want to give a good elevation of our power source. We don't want to go over like this, because then we're already tight before we even start singing. Who can sing like that, right? But we want just a nice elevated power source, right? Good posture, you feel healthy, you look more confident, right? So that is combined with your stance. So now, someone says to me, but what if I'm sitting down? Yeah. So I sit down, watch what happens. I go on the edge of my seat, and I put one foot a little advanced to the other, and I'm already in my stance sitting down. But what if I'm like driving or something? I'm like, you better be paying attention to the road. Well, if you're driving, yeah, in most cases you're kind of more back, so you just put your power source up. Guess what? Your right foot's a little advanced of yourself. Of the other foot. Why? Because you're doing the gas and brake. Makes sense. Okay. So, but if you're like in a choir or something like that, or in a group and you're all sitting down and rehearsing or whatever, sit on the edge of your chair and just get into your stance, one foot a little advanced to the other, and you're all set. And then of course from time to time you let go, right? Because it can be tiring, but it's I'll tell you right now, you keep doing this over time, it'll just be very natural. You won't ever get tired from being in this kind of a stance. Make sense? Okay. So remember that keeping one foot a little advanced of the other. Now, I said, why is it so powerful that we do that? Because when I stand like this, I'm telling my brain I'm going to go sing. My brain recognizes this is the position for my singing. Just like a baseball player gets into his stance to hit the pitch, a boxer gets into his stance. This is telling his brain the mechanics that are going to be employed to do that thing that you're going to do. Make sense? So if I stand like this, now I'm in my stance and I'm telling my brain, hey, get it together, send the signal throughout the body for all the muscles that need to be activated and coordinated for the singing process. Make sense so far? Any questions on that? Boy. If you have questions, you can shoot me an email or you just put it in the comments down there in the YouTube below. But if you have any questions while we're doing this, ask away, because questions are good. Questions are made for challenging, right? Because then that forces me to yell at you. No, I'm kidding. To actually think about the process in a different way that you might receive it better. Make sense? Plus you help me become a better teacher. And that's the ultimate goal, that I might become better, that you become better. If you become better, I become better. It's a win-win.